we've talked about our upbringing and how religion was involved on this channel a few times. Yeah. I mean, I had some terrible experiences, horrific experiences with religion, but I've also had some great experiences with religion.
I've not had the great experiences.
I mean, I was lucky enough to have a family come into my life in a time of need that was probably one of the greatest families that I've ever known.
For sure.
I mean,
For sure,
seriously, I have had some shining examples in my life of what Christianity could be and what Christianity is in a lot of circumstances, unfortunately, because the great ones, much like people, are few and far in between. But what was not lacking in my earlier days was the notion that almost everything in pop culture was satanic.
Satan.
That's a devil worship.
Speaking to you.
Devil worship. Worshiping the devil.
Yeah, worship.
And this came to, I mean, everything. I've said before, Pokemon.
I wasn't allowed to listen to Britney Spears when Britney Spears was like at the height of her career.
Dude, one of the early metal musicians that I ever listened to was Marilyn Manson.
Oh, for sure.
And
yeah.
metal was something that changed my life. First, it was the first heavy metal band I ever listened to was Metallica. But the second was Marilyn Manson. And he was like new at the time.
But like, when I say for sure, I mean like looking back, that was like the figurehead of like that's demonic music. Yeah.
Which there was shit out back then that was way worse, What's the one? Hold on, it'll come to me.
That's what she said.
Oh my God, I can't remember. Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
That's the band. They were like way ahead of Manson on that. Oh yeah. But they weren't huge in the States like he was pop culture big. Like on MTV next to Britney Spears was this guy with an album called Antichrist Superstar, which was shocking the fuck out of everyone. And my grandmother, I told her I wanted that album. I was like, yeah, I just want a Marilyn Manson CD. So she called Walmart to see if they had it. And the lady oh God, you don't want to buy that for your grandson. We don't carry that,
They didn't even carry it?
No, and she was like, child, get in here. And I went in there, I was like, what the fuck did I do? It could be a million things. I don't know what she found out.
Right.
But I went in there and she was like, did you have me call up to Walmart asking for devil worshiping music? And I'm just like, I had no idea what the name of the album was.
You didn't know.
Yeah, all I had heard was the Beautiful People shit.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that was a wild situation back then.
I remember
everything. Pokemon. When they say I choose you, you know who they're choosing. Look into your hearts and ask yourself them words and what it means to you and your Lord. It's like, God, little did they know back then at that exact time, Shin Megami Tensei had come out, and they actually were talking about capturing demons and shit.
Yeah.
But they were going after Pokemon.
I remember befriending an older goth chick on the bus.
Yeah.
And she had this huge arrangement of what was it? Clippets? Hit clips?
Oh, hit clips.
Hit clips.
Yeah, they were like little microchips. That played half a song or something.
Seconds of a song, and we can insert it.
And one headphone.
Did it?
Yeah, one. It wasn't two. It was one.
But because it was really short too. Yeah.
You got to put a picture of it up.
I will. Thing. And so I took that home and was just like, But she had
20
so many,
seconds of
and they were
Britney Spears.
expensive too.
They were so expensive. They were.
I think I hid in the bathroom too, just so no one would know, and then I put it in my book bag. She had some better music too, but yeah, that was my demonic thing.
That's what's wrong with Britney Spears. She got possessed, and the Catholic Church finally released her this year.
Lord have mercy,
dude. That whole situation with her is just.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It scares the fuck out of me.
Happy
but
for
anyway, yeah, there was some rampant freaking the fuck out.
And it was funny because like that was like my mom and my dad are divorced, and at that point I think they were like going through their divorce, and so my mom had joined a church and it was crazy.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
that looks good in court.
Oh yeah, well anyway, there wasn't too much dispute. But she had gone on this huge kick, you know, I'm not allowed to listen to this unless like non-secular music, and then my dad would like let me watch R-rated movies and hang out and eat bad food. I mean, he cared about me, and then like
obviously,
and then like whenever he would like meet my mom, like he would turn his stereo all the way up in his truck and would be blasting Ozzy Osbourne just to be like, can't do anything about it when she's with me, kind of thing. So like it was like polar opposite. Did you see the thing that Ozzy came out and said like this week? Mm-mm. So like Satan protected him from catching COVID is like the thing that he said recently. Yeah. Anyway,
he's always doing ridiculous shit like that. He told Anton LaVey to go fuck himself, the guy that made the Church of Satan. Anyway, my parents, the only thing that like that my dad and my stepmom got mad about was the Austin 316 t-shirt.
And the Osbourne poster.
Oh, and the poster of the Osbournes. But the Austin 316 that is totally against the Bible and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, it's about the Texas rattlesnake drinking beer and stuttering people. Anyway, it was definitely an interesting time to be alive. If these people were just to be
and in the South
transported to now with no buffering of the years, just straight plucked from the 80s and early 90s and dropped into today's culture, they'd be like, my God, we were right. Jesus. It's all, fucking, it'd be crazy.
I'm sure there are plenty of grandparents who still say the same thing.
Oh yeah, well, if you've ever seen Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is Everything is Demonic. Christian Fear Crusaders.
Taking me back.
Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Well, there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
In other words, these are depictive of dead creatures.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurfette. She's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power. And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male. She was not born a female.
No, what you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in that most of them are male.
That guy's teeth.
So.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
We're looking at Yoda right now, and Yoda was called the Zen Master. Of course, this was based on Zen Buddhism. He's a three-fingered, three-toed beast. So he has the two fingers and the thumb, which from my information means Satan is Lord.
E.T., the extraterrestrial. What can we say about him?
Yes, it was a camouflage occult movie, including levitation, psychic healing, mind control, mental telepathy, that type of thing. E.T. also included some inferences to homosexuality within the movie.
Homosexuality?
Yes.
Here's a Rainbow Bright cereal box, and I mean, what are you saying about Rainbow Bright?
Again, it's a humanistic emblems and humanistic value system.
Well, the rainbow represents the networking of the New Age.
Right.
And it's interesting that she has a little five-sided star on her cheek. I don't know if you can see that on the box, but there's a little five-sided star, and it's upside down, which I'm not going to say it's used in this depiction, but that's a pentagram again.
Yes.
And that's another New Age and
well, they're
symbol.
Reaching far.
Rainbow Bright, you parents that are watching today.
Can't even get cereal today.
Responsibility. If you allow your children to watch these cartoons, if you allow them to bring these comic books into the house, if you allow them to have these toys or you buy them for them, you're going to be held responsible before God.
Going to hell.
God says not to bring an accursed thing into your house, lest you should be accursed as it is.
Shorty, get out of this
house. They're accursed. They teach the children to get into spells and to witchcraft and to serve demon powers.
you a
rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. I 100% believe it. Why I believe that is because I know how it feels when you sing it. I know what it does to you. And I know the
rock and
evil
roll
feeling that you feel when you sing it. I know the lost position that you get into in the beat. Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
You know, there's something about when you go to a concert of death metal, somebody might get killed. Right. You know, you're worshiping death.
Hold
and then
on.
all of a sudden
Hold
people
on.
start dying. Oh,
Hold
wait a
on.
minute, what's going on? Well, you love death.
The Eagles of death metal are not death metal.
Is that what he said? I think he just said death
No,
metal.
he's talking about, he's preaching about that massacre that happened in Paris during one of their shows. And the funny thing about this guy is, oh my God, guess what? This guy who screams and shit from a book that he doesn't understand is talking out of his ass about shit he doesn't fucking understand. Could you imagine a guy who makes a living talking about shit he doesn't understand?
Is ridiculous.
No, the only thing he did is, I heard a headline.
Yeah.
Boy, ain't this gonna be something for me to...
How a lot of it is, yeah.
No context, no forethought, just, boy, won't that be catchy.
Yeah.
Just like they thought when they came up with the name Eagles of Death Metal, they thought that would be catchy too. That's all it is. You fucking fuck.
All right.
That's so much. That you bought the ticket? Yeah. You love worshiping Satan? Well, let's have some of Satan's religion come in and shoot you. I mean,
God,
that's
his
what
penis has to be like
these
fucking
people should think
this
about
big.
before they go to such a wicked concert.
It looks all real cute and fun, but why do you have to portray such
Guar.
a negative influence for the youth, for my kids?
Camera is awful.
You should be.
Teletubbies are a PBS hit with the toddler set. But the Reverend Jerry Falwell has launched a warning in the latest issue of his National Liberty Journal, telling parents Tinky Winky is gay.
Oh, yeah. I remember that being a thing.
Parents, be very careful what your children are watching. They watch 20 to 35 hours of television weekly. Be sure that subtle and bad images are not being planted in their minds.
Tinky Winky is a boy, but Falwell's magazine says the fact he carries a purse suggests he's homosexual. Falwell's journal also points out Tinky Winky's purple and sports an inverted triangle on his head, both symbols of gay pride.
Let me say something about Harry
Potter. Oh no, church camp.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah.
Warlocks are enemies of God.
Dude,
and
pause
I don't
it.
care what kind of hero they are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament...
I think I've mentioned this before on the channel. I don't remember. But it was like 7th grade. And we had like a day to where it was like we had all of our testing done. So we just were like taking a day. And that happened like once or twice in the school year. And they like rolled out the TV. We were having like a pizza party. Lights were turned off. Like you could nap, whatever the fuck. And somebody brought in like one of the Harry Potter movies. And everybody was like, yes. And there was one girl who was like, my mom's not going to let me watch this because it's witchcraft. And everybody was like, fuck you. You know, we didn't get to watch it. Even the teacher was just like, you motherfucker. Yeah, so.
Anyway.
Harry Potter would have been put to death.
These poor kids.
St. Edward Catholic School in Nashville is facing backlash after the school's pastor pulled the Harry Potter series from the library.
These are new ones.
In an email to parents, Father Dan Rehill explained that the series glorify acts of conjuring the dead and evil spirits.
A group of rabbis and priests held demonstrations over this past weekend, and they were demonstrating against a movie called The Life of Brian.
Protesters around the world marched against The Life of Brian. It was dropped by financiers, banned by councils, states, even entire countries. But it still managed to get shown and still managed to offend seemingly every world religion.
What happened to sticks and stone can break my bone, but words can never hurt me.
Councillor Hitchin, why have you banned The Life of Brian?
Because from what we've heard about it, we think that it's going to be an extremely offensive film on religious grounds.
Now, you've not actually seen the film, have you?
No, we haven't.
What reports have you had of it? Where have those reports come from?
The reports have come from the Festival of Light.
What do you know about the Festival of Light yourself?
Nothing.
Dungeons and Dragons is a real serious problem. I began to look through the instruction manual, and I see here how to cast magical spells and mage spells and cleric spells. And you go to the pages that it's listed on, in this instance page 41, and they have complete descriptions of how to cast spells and how to contact powerful spirits.
They're real, baby. Them spells are real.
Then Final Fantasy came out, and he was like,
good.
"Oh,
says,
I think it's
there."
there."
It is important to remember
Actually,
that the source
Final
of
Fantasy,
all magic is the
it
life
is.
force of the user. This is the teaching of the occult. This is exactly what we were introduced into in Star Wars and E.T., that there is some magical power, some life force that runs throughout the universe.
You have eyewitnesses. For instance, one
I was thinking Star
case
Trek.
of parents were actually saw their child summon Dungeons and Dragons demons into his room before he killed himself.
Boycott Disney? We have good reason to do so. And I have good reason to ask you to join us. Millions of other people have joined us. This is a boycott with a just cause.
Oh my God, I just
A
remembered
just
something.
cause, the Disney boycott. Their anti-family actions have spoken louder than its corporate image and cartoon logos. Those actions are causing more and more groups to say enough is enough.
The Assemblies of God announced today they were boycotting the Walt Disney Company.
Disney extended insurance benefits to the live-in partners of homosexual employees.
How evil!
Disney-owned ABC led the TV networks in the number of prime-time gay characters. Homosexual.
I've just I haven't even been able to catch on to that because I have been triggered back into my 12-year-old self, and I'm like, oh my God, do you remember when you weren't allowed to go into Walmart because supposedly they supported gay rights?
Really?
Really.
It's just so funny how the evangelical movement from our entire lifetime was just the gays! The gays!
Yeah.
And?
I literally, I just, totally forgot that. And oh my God.
What? Oh my God. What?
You're going to have to, rewind that a little bit because I was just not.
But I just don't get it. The Bible says it's wrong. Among a list of, a trillion things that you do on a daily basis, you hypocritic motherfucker. God, why are you so obsessed with what their penises and vaginas do and other parts of their bodies? Who gives a fuck? It's not like you have to just be there. Now, I would probably not be the happiest if I had to keep my face 2 inches from it. I'd be pretty hardcore against that.
Or any. But
right, but who gives a fuck? Who cares? These people made fucking these videos. I'm sure there's 30 of them.
So
that
the whole
are
thing
20
was
hours
people
long.
were boycotting Disney because they extended rights to spouses before they could get married. Is that
right?
That's what happened.
Right. Well, among other things, what these were videos that were donate money to the church, and we're sending you videos, old people, to your house. And they're just providing media, so they had to get donations for something. So it's fake holy water, VHS tape collection. So just donate us tons of money. We got to keep these people scared. We've got to keep them interested in something. Attack the gays, and send them VHSs of us attacking the gays. That's all. They would have never done this shit and never cared if they didn't need to keep people occupied and scared to get money.
Yeah.
That's all this shit is.
Sexuality, violence, anti-Christian themes,
God.
Profanity,
Are they
obscenity.
saying Disney?
What they're wanting us to do is to simply look at tolerance as the supreme ethic of this generation.
Disneyland is pushing the homosexual lifestyle.
Let's review some of those Disney classics. The story of Snow White
includes witches, magic mirrors, sorcery, and spells. Cinderella, even in the opening scene, they tell you that it's an enchanting story about magic. The Bible is clear. No enchanter, no magic. In The Little Mermaid, there's witches, there's spells. In the story of Pocahontas, she consults a familiar tree spirit to guide her. Jasmine is supposed to marry the prince, but instead she falls in love with the thief. This also contains magic and sorcery. Mulan's best friend is a little red dragon who lies to her and speaks to the dead, which is necromancy. The Prince and the Frog is all about voodoo. And of course, Mickey is the sorcerer himself. And let's talk about Frozen. When Elsa decides to build her own ice castle, she sings that song, Let It Go. And the lyrics say, no right, no wrong, no rules for me, I'm free. This is a most dangerous philosophy to plant into children's minds.
What?
You see, the 10 Commandments are our only guide for right and wrong. The Bible is very clear. We are to have nothing to do with these things, period. In fact, the Bible describes these practices as an abomination to the Lord, meaning that God hates these things. And if God hates them, do you think that we should have any involvement in watching them? Romans 1:32 states very clearly, who knowing the judgment of God, they that which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. If we simply enjoy the things that the Bible defines as sin, for example, magic and sorcery, we are worthy of that same judgment by taking pleasure in watching others.
All those 4-year-olds need to die because they like Frozen.
Maybe if somebody would just...
Hell yeah.
Maybe if somebody would just like...
in watching others commit them.
Space this man's eyes out a little bit more, he could see the world more clearly. His shit's so close, he's almost looking in the opposite direction.
It's not nice.
He said, but the Bible didn't say nothing about my mom and dad being sisters, so shut the fuck up. Frozen. It's like he started talking about the Frozen lady like he's talking about Aleister Crowley or something.
Yeah.
There's questionable shit about Disney. Let's be real.
We've all watched those
questionable
videos
shit about Disney.
where
But
there's
one
like
of those
shit
things that I'm not worried
implanted.
about with Disney is them being some kind of tool of the devil to fucking make homosexuals happy. Love everybody, your neighbor, take care of people. Oh my God. One of the worst things that could happen would be if Rick got sick and he'd been living with Larry for so fucking long and then he died and then all of Rick's shit just gets gone and he's left with nothing and their house is sold that they built their whole lives to, or worked their whole lives to build and blah, blah, blah. They should be able to fucking have all those things. Regardless of whether you agree with the religious ceremony and sanctity of marriage or not. Dude, give me a fucking miss me on that. They don't deserve rights for their relationship.
That's the biggest thing is like, it's not necessarily just with like Christians around here, but I think it's where we live primarily.
Yeah.
Like you have all these fucking dumbass rednecks who are like, oh, these are my rights to do like things that they absolutely shouldn't do. But then like when people's rights actually get violated.
Yeah. Or when
but that doesn't matter because it doesn't apply to them.
Right.
Unless you know one of them. Like, I totally don't. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just... It's scapegoat shit. It's all scapegoat shit. It's like, when things are bad for you, get mad over there, and then you don't even look at yourself.
Yeah.
You're just focused on being angry at that.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't worry about brushing their teeth, taking a bath, learning how to spell, learning how to read, not drinking 32 beers while they're fucking like having a religious ceremony, you know, talking to whoever or watching whatever bullshit YouTube video that they're watching about all these things that make them right. It's just like, man,
everything's demonic,
fuck
baby.
you guys. Straight up. This is the dumbest shit in the world.
Like, this is like something that I would have heard like regurgitated back to us in like a sermon.
All the time. Until I got to the Presbyterian church that I went to from, you know, middle school to the end of high school. I grew up, my early childhood years up until I was about 12 years old, was surrounded by this kind of bullshit anytime I went to church. And I was a young guy trying to find himself in a lot of ways. And so I would attend church on my own to try and find meaning in life and try to find things. Like, my parents didn't go with me.
Yeah.
I went by myself to different churches and shit, just on this fucking conquest to understand shit. And boy, I found out a lot about life, but very little of it that was good that came from that experience until, you know, Will came into my life and that church and just a kind of way of looking at Christianity and focusing on Jesus Christ and focusing on forgiveness and redemption and the meaningful shit behind, yeah, you're fucked up. We're all fucked up. But the best thing you can do now is not worry about how fucked up you are. Just try to love everybody as hard as you can, and everything will be all right. You'll start to love yourself when you just start loving everybody as hard as you can and doing your best to be good to people.
And I'm really happy that you got that influence. It's definitely sculpted you as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy, especially when you're young, to fall into that trap because it seems like the answer, right?
Yes.
And the people who are in the church are very much gung-ho on, I have all the answers. I know everything and it's all in this book and I can make you do things or make you feel like shit about being a human being based on this book, and here's how you have to continue to support the church.
But how many hungry people have they fed? How many sick people have they taken care of?
If you didn't
your
have
kids,
your
not
hair
your family.
dyed and your nails done and a new outfit every Sunday, the church that I went to that mostly sculpted like my tween years, like you were an outcast.
Yeah, I didn't ride like that. We had a youth group shirt for the group that I was in that said that it was like, I'm a big fan of not going to hell. But the point behind that was, I'm a big fan of not going to hell, but that's not why you need to be here. It's not about not going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
The point is everything else that's like good and not the scary shit that's like,
I never got any smidgen of good.
Yeah.
We had youth group as well at the church that I went to, I guess after that. And in the 6th grade, they had to send home a piece of paper saying that they were going to go over like sex ed with us. And my mom was like, what the fuck? At the church? They can what? And she was like, well, it's the church, so whatever, here you go. And so I sat in a room with, I don't know, probably 40 of my peers, you know, people that I went to school with and knew really well. And the only reason we were there is there's no community center, there's nowhere for us to go to except for Bible study.
Yeah.
And they told us things that were awful and scare tactics into sex and how to basically never touch each other because you will get pregnant. You will get pregnant. What is that on Mean Girls? You will get pregnant and you will die. And how masturbation was like, you will go to hell.
You'll lose your third leg.
And then we all, at the end of it, we all had to sign a piece of paper saying that we will not have sex until we get married. And like some of the kids in there were like not virgins. So it was awful. It was awful. It was a terrible experience.
It's ridiculous, you know.
I would never let my kid go through that.
There's so much proof that shit doesn't work. But
well, the South is like the worst for it because it's like they teach like abstinence only, and it's like we're the number one in like divorce rates and teenage pregnancy
being
and
dumb fucks.
A whole list of things.
I had the first like in school sex ed thing like probably 6th grade, but
I didn't have it until 9th grade and they barely covered anything.
Dude, there was a section where we wrote down our questions and they had to read them off, and somebody was like, does masturbation cause blindness?
That's so sad.
Hold on, at the end our gym coach was like, all right, we're going to form a line right here and follow me. We're going to walk back to the gym. And for those of you who cannot see, follow the sound of my voice.
Oh my god.
Dude, we fucking died. That shit was so funny. But yeah, it was a really interesting experience being around shit like this. And if you've never been actually around and indoctrinated into that culture, I am sure that this is so fucking bizarre. Like, so fucking bizarre. Because these people are talking, they're talking about this shit as if they were talking about like on a true crime documentary where it's just like,
fact.
I mean, these
The
people were
Smurfs,
just, the Smurfs,
they're dead.
They're
And
little dead tiny people, and one of them has changed their gender.
this cute little character on the cereal box will fucking murder
Did you see the stars? I mean, oh my god.
Whoop, I did something.
It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so hopefully you all enjoyed this. This is Everything is Demonic Christian Fear Crusaders, and it is on a channel whenever the browser decides to stop fucking being a piece of shit. There we go. Chode Munch is the name of this. So you should definitely go and check them out. There's a whole bunch of cringe compilations and different kind of compilations on this channel. It's fucking hilarious.
And if you remember in the Satanic Panic, like something that happened or an experience that you had, we would love to hear about it in the comments. Would love to.
It's shared trauma.
Yeah.
We've all gone through this, so feel free to share.
Maybe some of you haven't.
Yeah, maybe not, but good on you. You know, one of the words that is tagged on this video is gay Teletubbies. Anyway,
Dude, I remember my grandma saying that.
I remember when there was this big issue about the one carrying a bag. Yeah.
Well, and what that's also, he's carrying a purse and he's purple. You know what that means.
You know what that means. It's a lot like me.
Oh my gosh.
This video, again, Chode Munch. We will share in the description a link to the original video along with a link to our Discord page, which you should check out and be cool. Discord channel.
Leave us a recommendation there.
You can leave us a recommendation there or in the comments section. You could like, subscribe to the channel, do all that shit. Support us. Come on, please. We told you about our damaged childhood. You can help us out. But for this video, I think that's going to do it. See y'all.